Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Taisho Alice, and we are continuing Gretel's route, and probably on our way to a bad ending, because we're not using a guide the first time around, and the guide that I found was quite terrible, but anyway, just the Christmas tree at ABBB, ABQ, 486, purple unicorn, put the words, it makes it easier, but anyway, that's also, Lord knows where I put it, so we'll use that once we get our first probably bad ending in this, so. Anyway, just picking up where we left off. So, real quick, let's back up to about 6 months ago. At that time, Gretel was still a goody-goody honor student. He got near-perfect marks on all his tests, and he excelled at everything he tried. He was always calm, composed, and confident. Oh, right, we had our head in our brother's lap and the weird conversation that just out of context sounded terrible. I'm sorry if anybody overheard you listening to me and was like, what the fuck? Because I was feeling what the fuck too. According to his teachers, he had an affable personality and knew how to win points with people. For better or for worse, his charm was magnetic. Sociopath. Mom, Dad, and I all cared about him very, very much. Gretel, Dad's on the phone. He's asking for you. Here. Thank you. Hello there, Gretel speaking. Yes? Yes. I'm doing well, thank you. Sister and I are making dinner at the moment. Yes, I'm fine. Sister's here to look out for me. You must be busy with work, right, Father? Don't worry about me. Everything's going smoothly. Right. Okay. Talk to you again. What did he say? Not much. He wanted to know if I was having any trouble, so I told him I wasn't. Sounds like the usual. Indeed. He frets over me so much I'm starting to think he doesn't trust me. He just cares about you, Gretel. Right. Her parents were extremely busy people. They always made time for phone calls or visits to see how Gretel was doing. Plus, they would buy him whatever he needed to live comfortably. In my eyes, they were doing everything they possibly could for him. Maybe they were, checking up on him more and doing all that, not because they don't trust, maybe they don't trust him. But it could also just be, they're like, he's adopted, so we have to be a little nicer to him. You know what I mean? Just in case he ever finds out, we don't want him to think he was, underloved. You know what I mean? You're, worried about, all the kids are treated equally. But then the adopted kid's gonna find out he's adopted and be like, you never loved me! So you're being a little bit nicer to the adopted kid? Just for that inevitable when they find out, they're gonna be like, and you know what? No, you gave me everything. You just never know. Or they don't trust him because they think he's a sociopath. I don't know. I mean, he did end up locking us in a... Well, he hasn't locked me in a cage yet, but just saying. And as for me... that reminds me. Could you help me with my homework, sister? Sure. I was willing to do anything if it would help him. I wanted him to have a happy life, so I always made sure to treat him with love and kindness. Also, you want to bone him. Was I coddling him? Probably. But he never once questioned it, and as far as I was concerned, it was having a positive effect on his life. Sure, it's not going to have a positive effect on your life, but whatever. So then you take that and do this. Incredible. You're a better teacher than anyone at my school. I knew I was right to come to you. I'm honored to be of service. Anything else you need help with? No, I should be all set now. Actually, I have anatomy questions. I'm just kidding. Oh, God! That's some shady shit, and I wouldn't be surprised I wouldn't put it past him. You sure? If only I was at college with you, sister. I know it sucks being a year behind me, but that's just how the school system works. I know, but maybe I could graduate early or something. Sounds complicated, but I think you might be able to make it happen if you went to college abroad. Studying abroad. And that does sound nice. You must really hate community college, huh? I don't hate it per se. It's just so dull and everyone there is an idiot. It's beneath me. Admittedly, Gretel had a bit of a superiority complex. But it didn't really bother me. Gotcha. Well, if you make it into my university, we can go to the same school together. Then we can spend even more time with each other. Whoa, no! No! You don't talk like that to the birds. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You can talk like that. You don't scream at them. We don't like the ugly noises. Right. Just let me know if there's anything I can do for you, okay? Could you not shriek? Yeah. I don't mind. The shrieking is loud and I don't like it, but it's not as bad as that ugly scream. You want to come here and hang out? You obviously want attention, because as soon as I talk to you, you act nice. But, like, you could come here and get attention. I'm sitting right here. It's not all about you, buddy. You sat with me all day. It was all about you. Are you yelling at Little Bird? Because I didn't even realize that he was sitting over there. I hate to say we ignore Little Bird, but it's just because he's mean. And you try to talk to him and he gets all angry at you. He doesn't want you to talk to him. Like, I try to talk to you and be nice, and then you bite at me and you get nasty, so I just, like, leave you to your own devices. Do whatever you want, Little Bird. I will. Thank you for all your help, sister. Our family was a little abnormal, sure, but in my opinion, we were doing just fine. Yeah, you want to have sex with your brother, and he probably wants to have sex with you, but he thinks you're actually his sister. Yeah, that's just fine. She did say abnormal, but I was sure it would last forever. Until the day it all came crashing down. On that fateful day, an incident occurred at Gretel's community college. The victim was a student at Gretel's school, and the perpetrator was Gretel. After school, the two of them got into a scuffle, and the other boy was injured so badly he needed stitches. Well, snitches get stitches. Then a meeting was called to discuss Gretel's punishment. The result, suspended for 2 weeks. I mean, they got into a fight, it's gonna happen, so like, it all came crashing down. I mean, what incited the violence, though? Our parents decided to have Gretel temporarily isolated in order to undergo a psychological evaluation. Okay, that's extreme for a kid got in a fight and hurt someone. Like, oh, hi, Mr. Cardinal, sitting outside in the tree. That who you chirping to? Talking to him? No! Let me go! Let me go! You're coming with me, Gretel. No! I don't want to go! Gretel! Sister, help me! Please help me! Ryoshi confined Gretel to a separate, smaller house elsewhere. It didn't click. Okay, there it goes. Ryoshi, why would you lock him up? I was completely against it. I didn't see the need for any solitary confinement. I was sure Gretel could recover just fine at home. Maybe they should have asked him why he punched that kid hard enough to make him... You know what I mean? Like, this is a necessary step for him. Please let me see him. I'm afraid not. Right now he needs time to cool off. Relax, alright? He has everything he needs. No matter how I pleaded, Ryoshi refused to listen. I wanted to get a look at Gretel's living arrangement for myself, but Ryoshi refused to let me inside. There was nothing I could do. Gretel had asked me to help him, yet I couldn't. Do you think him locking us up in this thing is like payback for this? But like, we wanted to help you, you asshole. When I finally saw Gretel again 1 week later, he was completely emaciated. For the first few days of isolation, he had refused to eat or drink anything. Gretel, is there anything you need? Anything I can do for you? No, not in particular. Gretel. Don't cry, okay? I'm here for you. Sister. I wanted to console him, to put a smile back on his face. I'll protect you, I promise. After that, Gretel was released from his confinement, and I hovered over him more than ever before. Once his 2-week suspension came to an end, I walked him to and from school each day and reduced his responsibilities as much as possible. Fortunately, he returned home in high spirits, and we went back to life as usual. On the surface, anyway. I wonder what... we're gonna obviously find out what triggered him. Did they tell him you're adopted, or were they like, yeah, I want to fuck your sister? Make fun of him for wanting to fuck his sister? I don't know. But his relationship with Ryoshi had soured even further, to the point that simply being in the same room was enough to ruin Gretel's mood. I mean, you got in a fight at school, and your punishment was to be locked up for a week. Basically almost starved to death. I mean, yeah, I don't think I'd really want to have anything to do with my family either. This is not like, okay, well, you were ranting and raving and then, you had a psychological evaluation and you needed to be put in a mental care facility for a short period of time to, like, deal with it. You literally just locked him in you basically Harry Pottered him. You locked him in a cupboard under the fucking stairs, but even Harry Potter was allowed to go out and go to school. Like, the fuck? Like, and Gretel is already slightly unbalanced, I believe, anyway. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd be pissed off at the person who, like, stuffed me in a fucking... He's got everything he needs. Go fuck yourselves. You just locked me in, like... Actually, for me, if they were like, you're gonna be locked in here for a week with no human contact. Sweet! It's a fucking vacation! Can I have my computer to play games? Can I just... I mean... Aside from going to work, that's basically my life. Like... Oh, one other thing had changed, too. He had stopped asking me for help with anything. No. He was confined in this room. At last, I understood. This wasn't just any cabin. It was Gretel's isolation cell. Is he punishing us for not helping him? Like, we couldn't do anything. I should have realized it sooner. Why didn't I realize it sooner? Are you awake? You were out for a long time. Through my hazy vision, I could see Gretel standing there, holding a bright white plate. I had this dream. You were there, and Gretel pressed his index finger to my lips. At his prompting, I fell silent. He's like blurry. Once he confirmed that I was done talking, he sat down on the bed and started cutting up the pancake on his plate. Here you are. Then he stabbed a forkful of it and held it up to my mouth. Eat the pancake? Sure. Sleepily, I opened my mouth and took the bite. I mean, like, why? Why would we refuse food? We're hungry and it's pancake. A good girl. He stroked my hair. Then he gently fed me another bite. And another. And another. Almost like he was nursing a battered baby bird back to health. After I finished my food, Gretel cleared away the dirty dishes. I sat up and looked out the window. Or tried to, but the curtains were drawn. Hey, Gretel? What is it, sister? Why did you kiss me that one time? What one time? What one time? You know, when I was resting my head in your lap. Oh, that. He kissed you on the forehead? It's a little affectionate for most families, but it's not like kissing on the lips. Like, well... He fell silent for a moment, then pulled me into a hug. Not going to stop me? Why would I? I'm not opposed to it. Despite the circumstances, I was still receiving a hug from my crush. Then he drew his lips to my ear and whispered, Are you enjoying being in my arms? Are you enjoying this hug? I mean, she just kind of admitted yes, and I think we should go with yes. Yeah. Pervert. I accidentally sprayed spit onto Gretel's face. Gross. Me? Pervert? I was so flustered I couldn't even form a coherent sentence. We're a little bit. I mean, we want to have sex with someone that was basically our brother, so. You're enjoying a hug from your little brother, you sicko. Frankly, I'm impressed you can enjoy anything right now, given the circumstances. Also, it's a family hug. You can enjoy a hug with anybody. We're not like, oh yeah, we didn't say we were getting off on the hug. We were enjoying a hug. Hugs are nice, okay? You don't have to be like, you don't have to want to have sex with a person to hug somebody. Hugs are very... not romantic. This isn't an embrace. Like, you started it! My voice escalated to a scream. I wanted to push him away, but he refused to budge. Maybe we should have said no. So instead I flailed my legs, but he just pinned them down with his own. Yes, that's right. I nearly forgot I'm the one who locked you in here to begin with. Which makes me the pervert. He let out an affable chuckle, but this was no laughing matter. That said, suddenly he lowered his voice. I guess it doesn't matter, since we're just two strangers who aren't related in the slightest. Okay, so at least he knows. So that answers that question. Okay, it's not super creepy coming from his side. But here's the weird thing. If you know and you clearly want to bone what you thought was your sister, why do you lock it? Why are you like so fucked in the head? I mean, I guess it makes for an interesting route, but I froze, eyes wide. I couldn't speak. My lips trembled, but no words came. I felt like his icy gaze had turned me to stone. A long moment passed as we gazed into each other's eyes. Then, at last, I found my voice. You knew? Of course I did. His tone was casual. Oh. Oh, well, this is embarrassing now. Oh, and I'm aware that you have feelings for me, too. Romantic feelings, I mean. I turned and dove under the blanket, piling it up over my head. Maybe that's why he did this, the freak. But Gretel yanked it right back off me. Look at me, sister. I curled into a ball and shook my head. Why not? I'm sorry. For what? Come to think of it, maybe it was silly to apologize. If anything, he should apologize to me! But my apology was a gut reaction. Look at me, please. I can't. I answered in a tiny voice. Come on, let me see my sister's pretty face. And yet he keeps calling you sister. I think he's like, I wanted to have sex with you until I found out that you weren't my sister, and now it just ruins my kink. Maybe he has a weird fucking sister fetish. I'm just saying. He spoke softly, like he was consoling a child. Look at me. This time he spoke sharply, commanding me. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read it that way, but I still refused. Leave me alone. He grabbed my shoulders and turned me in his direction. Then he cupped my chin and tilted my face up. You want to know why I kissed you? Because you're special to me, sister. I wanted to reward you with something you'd like, and since I knew you had feelings for me, I figured you'd like a kiss. When you said I was special to you, you meant romantically. You've always been terrible at hiding things. Or were you being obvious on purpose? That's something that's always frustrated me about you. As much as I love and respect who you are, I can't stand that side of you. You're normally so quick to read between the lines. How could you not notice this one thing? I thought about letting myself fall for you too, you know. No. Truth be told, I already had. I love you, sister. If I wanted to, I could kiss you. Hell, I could have sex with you. I let out a small shriek as he cut my breasts over my clothes. I love you, sister. I'm madly in love with you. We could date if we wanted. No one would judge us. No one would rebuke us. After all, it's not like we're actually related. But we still can't. It's forbidden. You know that, right, sister? I felt a drop of liquid hit my cheek. And when I opened my eyes, I found Gretel above me, crying. Okay, we're not related, so he's like, we could totally date, but it's still forbidden. Why? Are you forbidding it because we grew up related, or as like a family? Like, what is actually, like, you basically just admitted, like, well, hey, it's totally fine because we're not actually related. But it's still forbidden. Confused. Sister, I don't want you to abandon me. Please, anyone but you. Like, I know we should be like, this motherfucker just locked me up, but it's still like, oh, sweetie, don't cry. What is wrong with me? Like, okay, all right, if I didn't have scathing, hateful reactions to certain love interests, I would think that these games have fucking just totally desensitized me to abuse, and I'm like, well, it's cool now. Like, I hated Toma so much, but again, first real Atome game, aside from Mystic Destinies, we were kind of playing at the same time, I think. But, like, that was, like, my first venture into, like, that, and it was like, what? So Toma was not, should not have happened that soon in playing games. But, like, I've been perfectly fine with this. Okay, this is fucked up, but you're like, no, Gretel, don't cry, instead of being like, you sick son of a bitch, which is what I should be. I should be hateful and angry, but I think it's, again, because when we played Cinderella's route, I had no idea what was coming with Gretel, and he was like, oh, I like Gretel, and then it's like, he's a little bit, like, of a dick, and you're like, oh, You're that asshole. All right, I sometimes don't mind that. You know, I like the glasses, assholes. He wasn't wearing glasses, but I was still like, I can handle this. Can handle a little you being a little bit of a salty dick underneath that sugary sweetness outside. You're adorable little outside, and you're crunchy inside. I get it. I'm fine with it. So then we get here, and you're like, well, I already kind of pegged him. Kaguya's. If Kaguya did this to us, I'd have been like, take me now, lock me in the cage. I'd voluntarily get in the cage because he was my favorite. But so hopefully his route, we don't hate him by the end of it. I don't know. But like, there's been very few love interests, but there's still ones that make me so angry, like Finn in Steam Prison. I'm so angry and I hate him so much that it's like, so it's not, I'm not totally desensitized where I'm like, no, whatever they do to me, there's still ones that I'm like, fuck you, God, I hate you. But it's a lot more rare. It's more like, wow, you're a dick, I don't like you, but I might actually, there's probably been other ones where I've hated during the routes like Toma, but Toma, M2, and frickin' Finn are like the three that I can just be like, nope, they make me so angry. I want to go get a drink right now. I'm so angry just thinking about it. Finn's route comes out soon too. I'm not ready for it. I am not ready to do it. I said when it comes out for Steam Prison, we will do it. And then I was like, it's coming out so much sooner than I expected. And I'm not ready because I hate him so much. I'm not over it. It's not going to be a good time, guys. Anyway. I let out my 24th sigh of the day. What's wrong, dude? You're sighing like crazy. It's not like you. What happened to the goofy girl we all know and love? Wolf shook my shoulders, derailing my train of thought. Wait, now that I think about it, it's weird that you're still here. Aren't you gonna go pick up Gretel? I decided I'm not gonna do that anymore. Whoa. His eyes widened as he murmured in surprise. And maybe that's why Gretel in prison does. He's like, you stop picking me up from school. I paused my contemplation and decided to have Wolf answer a question on behalf of the entire male gender. Do guys kiss girls they aren't interested in? All the time. He grinned from ear to ear. Okay then. Guys kiss girls. We do it to get laid or blowjobs. Did you have your head in his lap? Because then... Sorry. I didn't feel like making any catty quips, so I let it go. He didn't represent all men, just the horny wolves. Thus it was a mistake to ask him in the first place. She's smart. After Wolf and I went our separate ways, I thought long and hard about last night. Why did Gretel do that? Last night, while I was resting my head in his lap, he leaned down and kissed me, but I thought it was on the forehead, but what did it mean? Then again, he just gave me a little pick on my eyelids at most. Any family member would do that. The thought made my heart ache, and I abruptly stopped and crouched down into a ball right where I was. Here's the thing. You wouldn't have put your head in Ryoshi's lap, and Ryoshi wouldn't have leaned down and kissed your eyeball, or even before I kissed you at all. You know what I mean? But your family could be like, oh, I'll give you a little kiss on the forehead, or a kiss on the cheek or something, or you hug. Like, that's okay, but the head in the lap thing, that's a little bit much. Unless you're like a little kid. There's a certain age where you're young enough, or like maybe your parent, but it does get a little weird between siblings. There are certain things that you're like, that's a little strange. I guess it's a personal thing. You know, maybe some people are like, or it could be a cultural thing, like, nah, totally always hang out with my brother and we cuddle with each other and... Really? That's weird. Like, I mean, you could have friends that you cuddle with, and that's okay if that's your thing. But like me personally, like, I wouldn't be cuddling with my family members. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you might joke about it, like, oh, let's go, like, for, like, 2 seconds, or, like, 14 people jammed on a couch. That's basically cuddling, you know what I mean? But, like, I don't know, like, I'm just gonna snuggle or put my head in my brother's, I don't have a brother, but I wouldn't put my head in my brother's lap. It's a little weird. I'm just saying. You know? I mean, if you were sad and your family's trying to comfort you, would someone in your family give you a kiss on the forehead or something? Maybe. Like, if you're sick or something, I mean, I could see that, I guess. No one in my family does, but like, you know, that situation was a little weird. But again, we know. They want to bone each other. Whatever. Do family members kiss each other's foreheads? Maybe in other countries. No, surely there's no way this could be taken as a platonic kiss anywhere in the world. Even between family. No, there's probably people that would do that. Personally? No, I don't kiss my family on the forehead or anything. a parent might kiss a child on the forehead, you know. Siblings? Maybe not. Brother and sister? Probably not, but... I mean, again, your head was in his lap, it's weird, but... Look, when he puts his tongue down your throat, that's crossing line. Lip kissing is a little bit, like, that's a little more personal, I feel like. Personally, I couldn't see myself kissing anyone except someone I was in love with. Like, your parents never kissed you, like, goodnight when you were a kid? That's weird. But just as I hit side 25... Oh, sorry. Hey, lady! It was the gang of delinquent boys from yesterday. Oh, I read that too young. It said youth. The way he sneered at me set me on edge. Can I help you? I rose to my feet and looked around. I'm pretty sure he did not understand when you said, Wakarimashita ka. He did not fucking understand it. Because he's still coming at you. I rose to my feet and looked around. School was out for the day and there were plenty of students around. Confident that they wouldn't try to pull anything, I donned a smile. We want to talk to you about your brother. Could you come with us? Sorry, but I'm busy. As I tried to walk past them, however, one of them grabbed me by the arm. Inciting incident to why Gretel kidnapped us. Trust me, this won't take long. It was the leader guy I had messed with. Stop! I scowled at him in disgust. Keep this up and I'll make a scene. Go ahead if you want, but I can't guarantee he'll be safe if you do. He who? Your brother? Oh wait, I guess he's not actually your brother, huh? What did you do to him? I yanked my arm out of his grasp. Oh, not much, right guys? They all exchanged a glance. What did you do? I repeated myself more firmly this time as I stared directly into their eyes. I'm sure you figured it out by now. We got a little bone to pick with him. So we called him out to teach him a lesson. And after a few hits, he started crying and calling your name. Aww, poor little Gretel wants his sister to fight his battles for him. Oh, Gretel, dear God, boy, you're gonna need to stand up. No, are you kidding me? Part of me doesn't believe this because I'm like, no, Gretel would have gone psycho on your ass. He did once. Our friends are showing him a real good time right about now. See? Here's the proof. On the small rectangular phone screen, I could see a guy who looked like Gretel getting kicked in the gut. And they have phones, so it's like way definitely like a modern time, but Gretel again. Look, he just rolled out of a candy cane house, okay? It was dark and I couldn't get a good look at his face, but he appeared to be tied to a tree. Each time they kicked him, he let out a painful groan and shouted, "Sister." So he's in a forest? The closest forest is by the lake. At this, one of the boys sent a startled look my way, and I took this to mean I was right. Someone Did they tase me? Right as I started to shout, however, I heard the crackle of electricity and a sharp pain rushed along my spine. Now we know why he kidnapped us to keep us safe. It was this. Pipe down now! We don't have to drag you there by force! And then someone moved around behind me and pressed something hard against my back. My whole body broke out in a cold sweat as my heart pounded in my chest. But I kept a straight face to conceal my internal panic. What are you planning to do with me once we get there? Oh, nothing. Just thought you want to go fetch your precious baby brother. Isn't that right, sister? I'm not your sister. You're not his, either. He knows everything, you know. He knows you're not his real sister, or even his stepsister. You're just strangers. I just get the creepy feeling that they have him tied to a tree and they're going to do horrible things to me in front of him to just break the poor boy's spirit. That's wrong and gross. I'm just going to go, you know what? I might be okay being locked in a cabin with my brother now. The alternatives? This? Ooh, no. So what? The icy sneer fell from his face and he raised his eyebrows. Evidently, he wasn't expecting me to be so unruffled. Meanwhile, I was debating whether to start shouting again. As I looked around, I made eye contact with several passers-by on the street, but the delinquents glared at them until they left. This was very clearly a trap, but I couldn't just let these thugs beat Gretel black and blue. Fine, I'll go with you. Now where are we going? I had a bad feeling about this, but I didn't have a choice. Now that I had agreed, one of them grabbed me by the arm again. Relax, I don't need you to escort me. I'm not going anywhere. As I shook them off, someone let out a whistle. Just then, my cell phone started to ring inside my book bag. Someone shoved me from behind, and I stumbled forward. Then the leader took my phone out of my bag and powered it off. Gonna have to confiscate this. Stupid phone. As I walked, I began to drop the items from my bag one by one, being as quiet as possible so they wouldn't notice. We're leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, like Hansel and Gretel. Bravo, game. Bravo. It was a risky move, but this way, if something happened to me, perhaps someone could follow the trail to my location. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. The delinquents brought me to a deserted part of the forest. The sun had already set, and the branches blocked out any remaining light until I could scarcely walk without a flashlight. My brain was screaming at me not to go any further, but with my captors on all sides, I was boxed in. Besides, I couldn't leave until I made sure Gretel was still It sounded like I said Gretel. Gretel was still alive. I came to an abrupt stop, and the guy behind me crashed into me. Where is he? To answer me, the boys all pointed their flashlights at the base of one particular tree. There, someone who looked like Gretel was tied to the tree, just as I'd seen in the video. He appeared to be unconscious. It's probably their friend. Are you okay? I dashed up to him and peered into his face. And that was when I discovered that he wasn't Gretel at all. Someone who looked like Gretel was tied to a tree, and I was like, and then he's calling sister, and you're like, maybe it really is. And then when you brought him, someone who looked like Gretel, I'm like, you keep saying someone who looked like Gretel, it's not him. They lured us out here, Gretel. We'll find us, don't worry. Gretel was the one calling us. This was a trap. I tried to bolt, but someone grabbed me and tried to put me in a full Nelson. Summoning all my strength, I pushed him away as hard as I could. I attempted to use this window of opportunity to get away, but then Gretel stood up and grabbed my arm. No! Desperate to break free, I used my other hand to punch him, but the other guy, the one I shoved, yanked my hair and slammed me to the ground. Ugh! The sharp pain made me grunt, but I had no time to lose, and during the pain I tried to get up, only to get the wind knocked out of me as someone kicked me in the gut. Gah! Unable to bear it, I collapsed face down on the ground. Then someone yanked me up by the hair, raising my head. Settle the fuck down! With a sadistic grin, the boy slapped me across the face. The sharp impact across my cheek knocked me back to the ground. I mean, this really does 100% explain why Gretel would lock you up. I need to protect you from this. Fear had taken over my mind. I started to tremble. For the first time, I realized I'm going to die. Maybe if... Someone help me! I can't scream really loud. I don't want my neighbors to actually think I need help. I screamed as loud as I could, but my body was shaking too hard to produce much of a sound. Someone help me! There you go, that's better. Their laughter echoed through the forest. I tried to crawl away from them on my hands and knees. Whoa there, not so fast! Ah! He grabbed me by the collar and flung me onto my back. Then someone shone a flashlight into my eyes, blinding me. Stop! But my desperate plea only seemed to further fuel their sadistic desires, because things started to escalate. I tried to back away, but the leader straddled my legs, pinning me in place. Stop it, you asshole! He tried to pin my arms down, so I dug my nails in, but he quickly pinned my wrists together with one hand. Next, he reached for my mouth. I bit his hand as hard as I could. Fear was telling me that if I didn't fight back, they were going to make me wish I was dead. Ouch, you bitch! Sparks flew behind my eyelids. The leader had grabbed me by the collar and punched me in the face. I felt a warm liquid trickling out of my nose and realized I was bleeding. My vision pitched sideways and my consciousness started to fade, but I bit my lip and used the pain to keep myself awake. Okay, here's the thing though. We're basically being pinned down and borderline sexually assaulted. I just have a feeling that's the way this is going to go. So Gretel thought it was a good idea in order to protect me from shit like this to tie me up and basically sexually assault me? I'm just saying, the fuck? Okay? Look, I can almost understand I kidnapped you and I have you locked in a house in the cabin in the woods to protect you. 'Cause this happened. Okay. Alright, again, I'm giving him more of a pass than Toma because nothing happened to... Well, I still don't really remember, but like, I'm pretty sure nobody tried to assault me. You just decided I was too stupid to function on my own. Okay, maybe we weren't Amnesia members. I don't remember hating that character that much, okay? And in this, Gretel's like, they attacked you. I'm going to protect you by locking you up. Okay, fine. But did you have to, like, tie me up? Because they're basically... If they had ropes, they'd be tying me up. And did you have to get all sexual assaulty on me? Because that's basically what they're doing. Like, Jesus Christ, Gretel. Could you push all the trigger buttons anymore? Like, dude! Bro! The fuck? I mean, I think he's a little mentally deranged, but like, whatever. Anyway. Use a pain to keep me awake. Okay. The taste of copper spread inside my mouth. You sure had fun humiliating me yesterday, didn't you? The leader reached a hand under my top. I wanted to scream, but could only manage a groan. I tried to resist by flailing my limbs, but he was far stronger than I was. At this point, there was nothing else I could do. No matter what cunning plot I came up with, I couldn't put it into action. And here's the thing. Okay, Gretel better not. Okay. All I'm saying, right fucking now. Gretel better not blame me for this. There better be no fucking victim blaming. At fucking all. Or I will take this motherfucking bitch out. Gretel, you're crazy and you locked me up and you're kind of being an asshole. I'm fine with it. It's okay, because we're all into him and whatever. But if you like, I had to do this because you got yourself attacked. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Doesn't matter what she said to this douche. It doesn't matter if she was running around naked. Nothing justifies this. Do not blame the... Ooh, nothing makes me angrier than victim blaming. Look, I victim blamed her a little bit with the... Well, I mean... We were kind of flirting with our brother, and that's why he thought he could lock us up. We did not help situations. But this? Like, okay. We didn't help the situation by insulting the dude and hurting his pride. But, like, you want to insult me and humiliate me in public? That's still douchey. But, like, this? No, nothing justifies this at all. Dude. No. You want to kick Gretel's ass because I pissed you off? Whatever. Still a douche move, but like... Anyway. Goosebumps prickled up my arms as his warm breath brushed my neck. This is where I'm just hoping Gretel and Wolf show up. I could see his brightly dyed hair bobbing up and down. I closed my eyes and tried my best to shut out reality. Freeze, police! All of a sudden a voice rang out. I opened my eyes and squinted against the blinding bright light. Let's get out of here! At his command, he and the rest of his gang took off running. Are you all right? The owner of the voice came running over to me, bringing his light with him. Oh. It's Red Riding Hood! How cute. I don't remember the voice we gave him. I didn't think I needed to remember. Cinderella got the Lupin treatment, but I don't remember the voice that Red Riding Hood got. Did he get the deep voice treatment? I don't know, anyway. It's me, Red Riding Hood. I think he might have. Red. As I sat up, I could feel aches and pains all over my body. Have we ever met Red Riding Hood? Aww. I'm so happy he's in this path. Red crouched down and put a hand on my shoulder for support. Unlike those delinquents, his touch didn't trigger visceral disgust. Are you hurt? He took one look at my face and stared, wide-eyed. This is serious, and let's get you to a hospital right away. Can you stand? Hanging my head, I reached out and clutched at his riding hood. Miss Ardis? My body was still shaking. After a brief moment of hesitation, he gently put his hand on mine. Don't worry, they're gone now. I'll protect you no matter what. The nightmare was over, and I was saved. The dam burst, and tears poured down my face. He's like, please don't cry. For now, we should get you something to wear. I don't take this. Am I not wearing clothes? He pulled off his riding hood and put it on me. My vision was now blocked blocked out with scarlet, but I could still feel his arm around me. I mean, I'm sure they tore my clothes, but I'm pretty sure I'm dressed still. After that, Red escorted me home. He tried several times to convince me to go to the hospital, but I didn't listen. I only wanted to go home. When we arrived at my house, no one was there. With Red's blessing, I went straight to the bathroom and took a shower. The steam made my scrapes sting, but I didn't care. I wanted to be clean again. The warm water washed all the dirt and grime away. After I finished my shower, I put on some clean clothes and returned to the living room. There, I found Red waiting with a first aid kit. Sit right there, please. If nothing else, we need to treat your wounds. Okay. I sat in the chair as instructed. I've cut some ice for your facial swelling. I'll hold it against your cheek for a while. He handed me the makeshift ice pack. Then he opened the first aid kit and took out some disinfectant and gauze. May I touch you? Yes, you may. With my consent, he took my hand. Does it hurt? No, I'm okay. He took my other hand and raised both my arms straight up into the air. Does that hurt? No. He slowly rotated my arms, occasionally pausing to ask me about any pain. Looks like your arms only have minor scrapes. Next, he examined my legs and so on and so forth. Now that I think about it, how did you find me anyway? He averted his gaze as he knelt before me. I noticed you had dropped some of your belongings, and I had a bad feeling about it, so I followed the trail. Plus, I know the forest very well. Oh, I see. You dropped those things on purpose, didn't you? Yeah. This may be rude, considering what you've been through, but if you had that level of forethought, why go with them at all? You must have had some idea of what they were going to do to you, correct? All men are wolves, after all. He says that because he's got actual ears. Does he have a tail? You're extremely lucky that I showed up when I did. I could tell from the tone of his voice that he was sincerely concerned for me. I know. I'm sorry. But despite my apology, I didn't actually regret going with them. I might a little. Even if they'd assaulted me, I could have accepted it as long as it meant Gretel was unharmed. If there was even a 1% chance of healing him, I would take any risk, even if it put my life in jeopardy. I was just the kind of girl I was. But I should have taken steps to hedge my bets, as it were. After that incident, I now knew that I didn't stand a chance against multiple armed attackers. In exchange for that knowledge, I merely had to endure some pain and fear and shame. Thinking about it that way made it a little easier to bear. I mean, she is like fucking titanium, Jesus. Forgive my rudeness. Anyone would have been intimidated into cooperating, and that was a thoughtless comment on my part. No, you're right. I'm partly to blame for what happened. Sorry for scaring you, and thank you for saving me. I smiled weakly. Red looked up at me for a moment, then pulled his hood low over his eyes. Anytime. Now, I'd like to take a look at your face, so could you close your eyes for me? As requested, I closed my eyes. Then I heard Red heave a sigh of relief. I'm going to touch you now. Okay. He pulled the ice pack away from my face and gingerly touched my wound. Does that hurt? Feels like it's throbbing a little. Next, he checked my lower eyelids, then my upper eyelids. Unfortunately, your eyes appear undamaged. But can you hear me clearly? Any ringing in your ears? No, I can hear you. It sounds like your eardrums are undamaged, too. And for now, it appears your only external injuries are on your face, palms, and legs. He grabbed the gauze and disinfectant off the table and set about patching me up. And my emotional scars are everywhere. And do you feel pain anywhere else? No. Oh, but I got kicked in the stomach. When I stripped down from my shower, I noticed a bright red bruise there. Want to see? No, thank you. That won't be necessary. Blushing beet red, he hastily declined. I burst out laughing. I mean, see also the way he's dressed. Like, it's so ye olde times. But, like, it's totally modern day. We're all dressed weird. Being with Red helped me forget all about that miserable experience. He looked at me curiously. What? Oh, it's just... You seem to be taking this all in stride. In response, I spoke with a tone of forced cheer. Well, I can't change the fact that it happened. All I can do now is accept it, get over it, and start planning for the future. Besides, you scared them away before they could do anything really awful. Normally this is the part where I'd wink playfully, but with my swollen cheek, I knew it wouldn't have the desired effect. Red looked at me intently for a moment, and dropped his gaze to the floor. You're a very strong person, but I must ask you not to force yourself. You may be stronger than most people, but you're still a delicate flower. That seems kind of contradictory. I snickered, but I knew he was only trying to be compassionate in his own way. Thank you, Red. After I expressed my gratitude yet again, he returned to his examination. As he applied the gauze to my cheek, I decided to ask him something that was on my mind. Come to think of it, do you know those boys? They're a local delinquent gang. I've seen them hiding out in the forest, smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. Oh, I see. Maybe that was their hangout spot. Red furrowed his brow at me. You're not planning to go get your revenge on them, are you? No, don't worry. I won't do anything dangerous. I denied it with a smile, but Red's serious expression didn't waver. I donned a serious expression of my own. Those guys seem to have a bone to pick with Gretel. With Gretel, you say? Have you heard anything? I'm afraid not, but he's a smart young man, so I'm sure he knows better than to hang around with that crowd. Yeah. Unless he's made them do it. You asshole! I hate him even more. I don't hate him, but I'll hate him when he victim blames me, and I'll hate him if he's friends with those fuckers. However... It may be related to the violent incident he initiated recently. I sank deep into thought. If these two things were connected, then perhaps Gretel's victim was a member of this delinquent gang. They probably they probably started it. You know what I mean? Teasing him, saying gross shit about his sister. I wouldn't worry about it too much, Miss Aris. Who can I talk to learn more about these punks? Miss Aris! He reprimanded me sharply. You just went through a highly traumatic experience. Just relax, get some rest, and leave the rest to the police. The police? The realization hit me. You have to file a report about this, don't you? Of course I do. What they did was a crime, and they ought to be punished for it. But first, I'd like to get you to the hospital and... Be honest. How bad is my face? What? Is it super obvious I got punched in the face? Well... He hesitated. When I saw my swollen face in the bathroom mirror, it made me want to cry. Honestly, I didn't even want Red to see me like this. But crying wouldn't fix anything. Are you going to try to lie and deny what happened, and Gretel's going to find out, and that's what? Yeah. I couldn't change the past. I could only plan for the future. I grabbed Red's arm and begged him. What you doing, buddy? If you see Gretel, please don't tell him what happened, okay? I don't want him to know. Why not? You understand that Gretel may be linked to this incident, correct? That's exactly why! Before I knew what I was rambling. If he finds out they hurt me, there's no telling what he might do. Like you said, Gretel has a bit of a checkered past, and if he acts out again, he might not be able to redeem himself. He wants to go to the same college as me, and if he causes another incident, they might not accept him. So please, whatever you do, don't tell Gretel a single thing about what happened today! Eventually, Red gave in to my pleading. Alright then, I won't. But what do you plan to do about this? For now, I'm going to keep my distance from Gretel until my injuries heal. After all, one look at me and I'll instantly know something bad happened. Where will you go? I started to say Ryoshi's house, then changed my mind. I'll get a hotel room or something. Lucky for me, we have a lot of those in this town. Then I'll have Mom and Dad tell Gretel that I left to stay with them in the city for a while. Okay, this is all what happens, because he finds out what happens. You leave him, so he feels abandoned. Then he probably finds out what happened. All of the... Oh, God. Every little decision we have made has, caused him to get crazier and crazier. Oh, Jesus. Do you think he'll believe that? It won't matter if he believes it. I'll already be gone. And if he calls my phone, he'll know that I'm okay. What about school? What about my phone? The punks took it. I won't be able to attend class for a while, but it hardly matters at this stage. My main priority is keeping this hush-hush. Now that I was committed to a plan of action, I couldn't just sit around. I left Red in the living room and ran upstairs to my bedroom. I came straight home in order to avoid making a huge scene, but that was a mistake. The longer I stayed, the more likely I'd run into Gretel. I flung some clothes into my suitcase at random, then headed out of my room. Sister, what's... When I opened the door, Gretel was waiting for me on the other side. What happened to your face? His expression was stiff. Oh, this? I tripped and fell. I purposely replied in a jokey, lighthearted tone. Did someone hurt you? Nope. You're lying. No, I'm not. Sister! He snapped sharply. It's nothing, okay? I put my arms around him to console him. Sister, there's nothing to worry about. But Gretel grabbed my shoulders and pushed me away. His eyes were narrowed piercingly. My body froze in fear. Gretel? Wordlessly, he grabbed me by the arm and dragged me back into my room. Gretel, wait! Ah! Then he pushed me down on the bed and started prodding at all the areas where Red had patched me up. My cheek, my arms, my palms, and lastly, my thighs. Every time he touched a sore spot, my body shivered. Gah! I knew it. Someone attacked you. Your cheek is completely swollen. Your arms and legs are all scraped up. Plus, I can see finger-shaped bruises on your wrists and... Ah! Without hesitation, Gretel hiked up my top. As I felt the air against my skin, goosebumps broke out all over my body. These injuries are all proof that you were struck. That is not something a brother would do, grope you like that. Maybe grab your arm and your face, but not lift up your shirt and prod at your thighs. That's not something that... Did they force themselves on you? No. Did they rape you? No, I wasn't raped. I denied it at the top of my lungs. I wasn't. I'm fine. They were gonna. And what did they do to you? Why did they do this to my sister? I brought it upon myself, that's all. Okay, we should not be victim blaming ourselves. I mean, I get she's trying to kind of dissuade him from going, it was my own fault. It's never your own fault. Okay, stop that. Unless you're literally like, hey, come rape me. That's my fantasy. Then you brought it on yourself. But it's still, that would be role-playing. That's different. Like, I mean, I brought it on my, no. She's trying, I don't like that. I get it, though. She's trying to dissuade him, like, I caused the problems. Like, if someone just punched you in the face for no reason, or, like, because they were being a dick to, let's say it wasn't a rape attack, okay? It was like they just punched her. I brought it on myself. Not really, but you'd say that to kind of protect him so that he didn't realize that you were protecting him and they were saying mean shit about him, right? So I get what she's trying to say, but at the same time, there's just that little trigger in me that's like, no! No, don't victim blame yourself. Don't victim blame. No, we don't victim blame. Wrong. Bad. We don't say I deserved it. I caused these problems. I brought it on myself. Although, I mean, she kind of did she did not help the situation with Gretel locking her up. This is a huge trigger, not our fault. But like all the little, the neediness, like all the loving and coddling and all that, we're not helping the situation. He's still crazy and we can't blame ourselves for that. But we were fanning the crazy flames in that situation. So, this though, brought it upon yourself. What's that supposed to mean? You would never make that kind of mistake. You're too smart for that. I'm not as perfect as you think I am, Gretel. Why won't you just tell me what happened? You told Red Riding Hood, right? Why is it you could tell him but not me? Oh, now he's jealous. It's not that. Then what is it? Is it me? Is it my fault this happened to you? Is that why you won't? No! Then tell me! If you care about me as much as you claim to, then tell me what happened and who did this. Don't lie to me. I knew I was trapped. Nevertheless, I lied without batting a lash. On my way home, a stranger tried to pull me into their car, but Red rescued me. Is that true? Yes. Then why didn't you go straight to the police? Or the hospital? I did, see? I'm all patched up. I gestured to the bandages Red had applied for me. You're lying. No, I noticed there's less gauze and disinfectant in the first aid kit. Alright, I didn't go to the hospital. I was embarrassed. Please don't lie to me. He hung his head and started to tremble. Gretel, just tell him the truth. His tears fell onto my chest. Reflexively, I reached out to touch his cheek, but instead, he kissed the back of my hand. Sister. What you doing, birds? Sister. My poor sweet sister. Look what they've done to you. I bet it was agony, wasn't it? Terrifying, wasn't it? And yet, he still got a creepy and a little rapey with us. I'm just saying, Gretel, for fuck's sake. I should have been there for you, but I wasn't. I'm so sorry. Sister. He pulled me tight against his chest and began to sob. The back of my throat burned like it was on fire, as did the corners of my eyes. But I fought desperately to contain my tears. I couldn't let myself be weak in front of him. After a long embrace, Gretel slowly pulled away. His eyes were red and puffy. Sister. Here, eat this. Let's erase all those awful memories. Gretel? The next thing I knew, Gretel was holding a jar in his hands. As the tears rolled down his face, he smiled and opened the lid. I slowly shook my head. I couldn't escape. I was still pinned down beneath him. And don't worry. You're just gonna sleep for a while. That's all. With that, he popped a few star candies into his mouth and kissed me. Okay, well that's not a brotherly thing to do. I tried to pull away, but he wedged my lips open with his tongue and pushed the candy in. Gretel! A long, long kiss followed, and by the time we finally came up for air, a string of saliva hung between our lips. Why? You took an oddly creepy, sexy moment and made it gross with the string of spit! Why do they do it? It's so nasty! Ugh! I hate it! Ugh! It's not attractive, it's gross. It's just being like, I watched as he vomited up I mean, just for God's sakes, it's just that disgusting. Spit is not attractive, it's gross. Stop it. Fucking stop it. Public service announcement, stop it. Jesus. It's shown seductively, provocatively. No! In no way is a spit trail sexy or provocative. I'm gonna gag. This is gonna make me vomit more than any talk of a spittle trail has ever made me want to gag in my life. Seductively, provocatively. Oh god, I'm gonna gag. I'm gonna gag as if I shoved my toothbrush too far down the back of my throat, okay? Ugh. And despite the circumstances, it was enough to set my body aflame. It's enough to, like, yeah, I want to light my body on fire with how disgusting that is. Not sexy. Gross. Ugh. Evidently, Gretel felt the same way. I hope you mean... Okay, I know they were talking about the spit trail, but let's just talk about pretend it was the kiss that sent your body aflame. That makes more sense. But somehow I could see darkness in those damp eyes and flushed cheeks. Sister. After that, he administered his medicine again and again. Oh. Phrasing. He administered his medicine again and again. I know it's just the star candies via kiss, but it sounds way dirtier. Sister, I'm sorry. I know we shouldn't, and that we're siblings. But today can be a special exception. You love special exceptions, don't you? My mind started to go fuzzy as an intense wave of drowsiness washed over me. Don't worry. Just give in to the sedative and tell yourself that it was all a bad dream. It was just a nightmare brought upon you by pesky demons. Once you wake up, we'll go back to our happy lives. Okay, so like, he has sedatives in his candy. He eats them all the time. It's weird. Or like we're in a sugar coma. I don't know. He gave me one last peck on the lips. Then the jar slipped out of his hands. Red, blue, green, yellow. A rainbow of colors scattered all over the bed and floor, as if the room had transformed into Candyland. Although it also does sound like we're taking like sleeping pills and we're both gonna, like he's trying to kill us. It's like a murder-suicide. Gretel. Unless we got a bad ending and this is a murder-suicide. He left me there and ran out of the house. I could barely think straight, but I chased after him nonetheless. At one point, I stuck a finger down my throat and tried to clear my stomach. I tried again and again, but nothing came up. Tears flowed down my face and fell to the floor. We might have gotten a bad ending. I knew this would happen. And that was when my consciousness faded. Is our brother a doctor? He's wearing a doctor coat. Anyway, this is where we're gonna leave it. I don't know if we're getting a bad ending. Or, like, that's just supposed to happen. Who knows? But it didn't happen now. It might happen in the next... I don't know. There is no way we're gonna get the good ending with the way I choose things. There's only 2 bad endings in his route, I think, so... I think they might be a little bit later. I don't think we'd get one this soon, but... Anyway, we'll stop here and we will continue on, I think, later today. Look, I'm all over the place. I'm not... Yes, I think this is the first part for the day, so you'll have one later today. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.